Hello everybody, welcome to the creek. Today we're going to do an extremely modified version of the whack and stack quilt method. You use it normally on fabric, but we're going to make a baby quilt out of paper. I love the Lawn Fawn Quilted Backdrop and I wanted to use it, but wanting to use it caused a lot of engineering issues. So let's just say errors are an opportunity for embellishment. When you're working with a lot of little pieces, I think Stick It is the best way to go. It's a very thin adhesive and you can die cut through it and it's not going to make a big sloppy mess when you apply it to paper. And so I found the easiest way is to just lay down my pre-cut rectangle stitched blocks there onto the Stick It, and then I'm just going to smooth that out and cut around them. I'm trying to save some time because the technique itself, the engineering took time. The actual doing it isn't quite as bad, but I wanted to do it using materials that you would already have. So here are my 4 rectangle squares that have little stitched edges, and we're going to line them up so that I have the stripes going the way I want and the patterns going the way I want. And this is where we modify. I had to cut a pattern because I couldn't just stack them up like you would normally do. I have a guillotine cutter that could do it, but since most people don't have those at their house, it was an office one, I felt that I should do it with what most people have. So that's why I made the pattern instead of just stacking them all up and whacking them. I had to do it this way because I wanted the quilted backdrop, and when I did my first go round, I realized that no matter how I tried, my quilt lines were not going to line up and it would have driven me insane. So you couldn't start with the quilted backdrop already on there. Plus you don't want to run it through your die cutter machine because it would smash it down anyway. So I'm just making the pieces, 5 pieces, always uneven. That is most pleasing to the eye. Now I'm taking copy weight paper and I'm doing it in pink because it'll hide any flaws if we cannot get everything to match up right. So I'm just picking off the transfer paper on the back of my little triangles there, and I'm matching up the sides and laying it down. And it's pretty easy peasy, especially if you lay it out the way you want off to the side. And this actually will make 5 cards. I'm just only going to do 1 today for time constraints, but it will make 5 cards. And I'm sorry, it looks like it's a little light there. I have just a regular Canon camera, and someday I hope to be able to get a better one, but you can see the color on it better now. And I'm just making sure everything touches. But it does not have to be absolutely perfect, but it's got to be pretty close. So I'm lining up I didn't like how that was lining up there at the end, so I just picked it up. That's the cool thing about the Stick It. Until you push it down hard, it is movable, but you wouldn't want to do it too awful many times. And then if there's any kind of mistake, then you just trim it off behind and nobody will ever know. And there is the basic part of our quilt. But now we have to get that beautiful quilting on there. So I'm just going to set up my big kick for embossing pads. So I'm using tab 1, an embossing mat, my die, and my paper, and then another pad on top. I like to keep it even because I didn't want my quilt pattern to go in a weird direction, so I kind of lined it up a little. And now we just put it through my trusty, really old big kick. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? I did get new pads though. Mine were getting kind of chopped up. So here is my favorite part. It's the reveal. Look at that beautiful texture. And now it looks just like a baby quilt. Next, I already have done an eyelet border by Lawn Fawn. And because I thought, well, you know, I want an edge to my quilt. I didn't want it just to be square. And I'm using my Lawn Fawn glue tube to attach it. That way I have some wiggle room. Inside that lace frame over there, there's a line, and it's really hard to see, but there's a little interior line that gives you a little cheat on where to center your picture, and it's really hard to see even in person, so don't feel bad. And now I'm just going to glue this down to my A2 card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I'm going to do the landscape this way, a side fold card. And I'm pretty generous with my glue tube. I really like it. It's inexpensive. It doesn't seem to clog. So that's my new go-to glue. And now I'm just attaching. And there is the main part of the card. Look how cute. Now, I didn't have any embellishments that I really thought went with it. So I thought, hello baby would be nice. I'm using the sugar dies from Birch Press there. And then the baby is from Simon Says Stamp. I stacked that up 4 times. Now, little did I know when I bought that baby die that it would be ridiculously delicate. It's insane. So I didn't think you wanted to watch me struggle sticking that together. So, but it is raised up 4 die cuts deep. The hello is flush with the card. Then I put a little weight on it for a few minutes. And then we get to the fun part. I thought I didn't want it to be flat, so I wanted a little bit of sparkle. So I'm using my Nouveau glitter pen and just going over the lettering. And I can do that forever. I get to where it's like, oh, there's not enough glitter. So sorry about that. I'm not real quick with it. And now we're going to get to the bunny. This is a Simon Says Stamp, one of the felt bunnies mold dies. And I just put it together, and I used a little bit of tonic Nouveau drops for the eyes. And now I'm adding a little bit of sparkle to his little collar because I thought he was kind of boring just plain there. Next, I added some Nouveau jewel drops and rose water to his collar. There we go. The key to Nouveau drops is to not really have the nozzle touch the paper, and that'll give you a rounded, less of a Hershey Kiss look, and then always tap it on the bottom. And I thought, well, you know, let's add one more element to this card. So I'm doing an action wobbler. So now the bunny's going to hop around. And this is basically just a spring with double-sided tape on either end. And I'm trying to do this because I'm too impatient. So I'm not waiting for my Nouveau drops to dry. So I'm amazed I did not stick my hand in it because I 99% of the time do. I really appreciate you stopping by today and hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please click like and subscribe, and if you'd be so kind as to tell your friends, that would be awesome. So goodbye from the Darby Creek Diaries. You can also see me at the darbycreekdiaries.blogspot.com and over at my Facebook page. Here are a couple other videos I think you might be interested in. Until next time, bye-bye.